What it do, YouTube? It's your boy MachineZo MachZody, MachineZo, and we coming back with another react. This time we reacting to B-Ball Explain. Not on the court with it, we is off the court with it. Every urban legend explained. Basically, we gonna run through 21 urban legends. As you can see, you got the Flag, Pistol's Death. You know about Pistol Pete. You don't know, we gon' know. That boy right there is a legend. But we ain't gonna talk too much. We just gonna get into the video. Subscribe to B-Ball Explained if you want to watch. This is a W video. Subscribe to me, Chill Life of Zoe, and let's go.
Tony Allen and O.J. Mayo's infamous plane fight. This one took off fast.
I ain't know nothing about
Literally,
this.
back in early January of 2011, during a routine flight from Los Angeles to Memphis, things turned less first class and more like a low-budget brawl. It started with a card game called Boo-Ray, where Mayo lost around $7,500 to Allen instead of just taking the L.
7,500. I guess that's a lot. That's definitely a lot back then, especially to an NBA man. But shit, that's a lot of money.
Mayo got mouthy. He refused to pay up and started running his mouth, bragging about being a higher draft pick and acting like Allen should be lucky to share the court with him. That went on for about 15 minutes. 15 full minutes.
Damn, 15 full minutes of yapping.
And Zach Randolph tried to get in between and cool things down, but Mayo just kept going.
Damn, my boy Zebo tried to get in between and couldn't stop it.
Away, probably hoping Mayo would just chill, but nope. When he came back, Mayo was still at it. That's when Allen snapped. He decked Mayo in the face and followed it up with a flurry to the mouth, shoulder, and the side of his head. Mayo tried swinging back, but
he got 4 off on you. He said, "Mink, bink, bink, bink."
Failed attempt. Teammates jumped in before it got worse. The team responded by fining Allen and banning gambling during any team activity. Both guys came out saying they were good and even practiced together shortly after. Whether or not they actually hugged it out is a mystery, but what's real is that after this blow-up, the team's chemistry flipped. They went from 16 and 19 to 46.
I wonder, I bet Mayo ain't pay that 75. I wonder if he ever paid the 7,500. Nigga beat that nigga into some good team chemistry, ain't it?
36 made the playoff and took out the #1 seed. That fight somehow ended up lighting a fire under that locker room. Trade your star, get the first pick. When a team trades away a franchise star and then stumbles into the top pick, fans don't just raise eyebrows. They start crafting entire detective boards. In 2012, the New Orleans Hornets sent Chris Paul packing to the Clippers. Not long after, they snagged the first overall pick with less than
I realized something as watching NBA more as an adult. I've loved it as a kid, teenager, mainly teenager. You always think the B in NBA stands for basketball, but there's a lot of other B words, and they kind of maneuver like that other B word, but that's all I'm gonna say about that.
14% chance. That alone had folks suspicious, but it got worse. At the time, the NBA actually owned the Hornets. Yeah, the league had just blocked a Chris Paul trade to the Lakers.
I remember this. Now I do remember this. Then this is crazy, because Michael Jordan, I believe, gave it up. Something happened, and the Hornets basically had it. Chris Paul is something like he's something important. And then they blocked this trade.
Naming basketball reasons, and then boom, they land Anthony Davis. It felt too perfect. Fast forward to 2019, same city, different name. The Pelicans traded away Anthony Davis to the Lakers. The package was solid. Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and pick. But just before that deal, they jumped to the top pick with only a 6% shot. Then they drafted Zion Williamson, the most hyped prospect.
He had the craziest high school run. I mean, Cooper Flag, I don't think he got too much airplay. But him right here, I think he is the reason why high schoolers aren't really looked at like that too much now. Because he had the craziest high school run, and he has a lot of all-court shenanigans. They talk about his weight. They talk about his knees. He hasn't played not that many games, and he's been in the league for a while, if you don't know about Zion. But I say all of this and pause the video to say, is Zion a bust? Like, he has like one more year. I know he's been hooping when he's on the court. He has like one more year to, bro, like to make playoffs, bro, or that's like bust type material. And I'm sorry to say, but Zion, you gotta get in the playoffs, my boy. You gotta stay healthy. And I know it's like it's your body type, bro. It's just really not made to play NBA basketball. NBA basketball is the highest intensity.
LeBron. Once again, the timing looked just a little too clean.
That boy was
then
slim right there.
2025 happened. Dallas flipped Luka in a wild 3-team trade and ended up with Anthony Davis. Months later, the Mavericks, with less than a 2% chance, won the lottery. Now everyone expects them to pick Cooper Flag. Sure. Fans lost their minds. A team trades away a generational player and immediately lands another potential.
And I mean, I stay in the Texas area, so you know what I'm saying, like I keep up with the Dallas news, all the Texas teams. And honestly, I don't know, they ain't really too fond of them yet. It's not Luka. It won't ever be Luka. Luka's generational, and it's more like they kind of want to see how he play. What it's gonna be like, what this first season gonna be like. And it's gonna be a lot to test because Kyrie's down with the Achilles or ACL, I think it's knee. I don't know, and so many people got injured, serious injuries, hard to keep up with, but I think it's knee or Achilles, it's something bad, and Cooper Flag's gonna have to step up to the challenge.
That's how conspiracy threads are born. Despite all this noise, the NBA insists everything's legit. The lottery process is private, with witnesses, media, and auditors making sure it's fair. Still, it's hard not to notice the pattern. 3 stars out, 3 top picks in. Odds low, suspicions high. Pete Maravich has predicted his death. Back in 1974, Pete was just 26 and still lighting up the league with his...
I know about him. Shout out to my dad, cause my dad, man, like, I grew up with my dad. My mom was overseas in the army type shit, so I used to get in trouble a lot. And when I did get in trouble, he would make me get books or make me write books or about what I like or what I love. And at the time I loved basketball, so I used to have to write about different players, and that's how I discovered Pistol Pete right here. And eventually I got to watch his highlight tapes and stuff, and yes, he is one of them. He's very cold.
Creativity and insane scoring. During an interview, he casually dropped a quote that's haunted basketball fans ever since. He said he didn't want to play 10 years in the league and die of a heart attack at age 40. That's exactly what happened. He played...
The power of the tongue, man. You always got to watch what you say or put in existence, especially into, like, the open world. Maybe you could say some shit like that at your crib, but you can't say that in a press article, man.
Exactly 10 seasons in the NBA, from 1970 to 1980. Then on January 5th, 1988, while playing a pickup game in Pasadena, he collapsed and died. Just like that. He was 40 years old. The cause? A rare heart defect. Turns out he was born without a left coronary artery. His right artery had enlarged over...
So he didn't have 2 arteries, he had 1. And basically that 1 was in overdrive all the way till 40. 40 is a long time, I guess, for that problem to not be looked at. But he got NBA money. They should have seen that.
To try and do double duty, but it eventually gave out. No one ever caught it. Not a single doctor flagged it. This guy played a decade of professional basketball, and no one knew he had a missing artery. It's one of the most unsettling coincidences in sports history. That quote wasn't something dug up years later either. It was
craziest quote ever. First of all, how the hell you don't know you got half your heart, bro? You need that motherfucker. Apparently.
At the time, the journalist who interviewed him remembered it clearly and confirmed it after Pete's death.
At a high rate.
He couldn't believe it either. Maravich was known for being unpredictable on the court, but no one expected that offhand comment to come true. And yet, here we are. He's still remembered as one of the most talented guards to ever play. But this one moment, this one line, has kept his story alive in a whole different way. Basketball legend with a tragic twist. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks.
Shout out to B-Ball Explained,
the Big Three was planned years prior. This move didn't just shake the NBA, it redefined it. But it didn't happen overnight. LeBron James, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh all came into the league in 2003, and that draft class connection ran deep. By 2006, they were already posing together for magazine covers. Then came the 2008 Olympic. That's where they really started cooking up the idea of playing together. Some
people were able to sleep. I kind of caught on. Like, these motherfuckers is close.
While they were building friendships, Miami's front office was plotting. Pat Riley started clearing salary cap space way back in 2006.
Damn.
By 2010, the Heat had around 40...
That boy was 4-year mission. $46 million. Good grief.
$6 million ready to drop. That's enough room for 3 max contracts. and Riley was ready to spend every cent. Wade was the first domino.
Very worth it.
He re-signed with the Heat on July 7th.
Very,
Bosh
very, very
followed on
much
the
worth
10th,
it.
choosing Miami over Chicago. And
Hell
then the
yeah.
broadcast heard around the world. LeBron announced on July 8th that he...
Oh, we still got some money laying around? Fuck it, Ray Allen. Let's come over here, Ray. Fuck Boston.
taking his talents to South Beach. It raised $2.5 million for
That shit
charity,
crazy.
but also raised the blood pressure of every Cavaliers fan on earth. They were introduced
They fucked the Celtics up too, don't forget.
style on July 9th
They
at a
snatched Ray.
full-on party inside the American Airlines Arena. All three signed 6-year deals. Wade re-signed outright. LeBron and Bosh arrived through signing trade
that
deals.
was like
What
first,
followed? 4 straight finals
the next
appearances
year.
and 2 championships. That
We
core
gotta
didn't
fact
just
check
win,
that.
they changed how teams think. Superstars teaming up wasn't new, but this was next level. The Heat's big three weren't built by trades or luck, it was a plan.
Shit, who said fuck the big three, nigga? It's just big me. Bosh, he went out with a what'd you call that shit? Victor Wembanyama had it. Blood clot. He had a blood clot.
Long, deliberate, player-driven plan that rewrote the rules of team building. Michael Jordan's high school cut myth. This one gets repeated like
I
a
knew about this
motivational
one.
poster, but it's not the full truth. Back in 1978, Jordan was just 15 and trying out for the varsity squad at Laney High School. He was 5'10", which
I'll
sounds
let him
decent,
explain
but
the
compared to his
story.
friend Harvest Lee,
My boy Jordan, that boy had the Converse on. Before Jordan was Jordan. What you think he probably have on? Probably, if that boy ain't never put a bear, he probably hooping Jordans. That's about it. Shit, his own shoe, some 11s, goddamn clean. Shit, anything he put that shit on, goddamn that type of fit. Some ones. Anyways,
Smith, who was 6'7", Jordan looked small. The team had 10 returning seniors, which barely left space for anyone new. Smith got the nod, mostly because they needed size, not because he was more skilled. Jordan didn't get cut from basketball.
Nope.
He was placed on junior varsity, which was totally normal for sophomores. But yet,
and of course Jordan being Jordan, he was over dramatic. Like junior varsity, basically getting cut, bro. I don't want to hoop with these niggas, bro. I'm way better than them.
he was furious. He went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. That moment stuck with him. Instead of sulking, he turned it into fuel.
Boy, eyes ain't been white ever since, boy. And boy, cried this shit into a yellow oblivion.
He started training like a maniac. Early mornings, late nights, non-stop practice. Over the next year, he shot up about 4 inches and sharpened every part of his game. By the time junior year rolled around, he made varsity and turned into a star. What gets lost in the overhyped version of this story is that it wasn't some shocking failure. It was just a teenager being told to wait his turn.
Overdramatic.
But that wait lit a fire. The idea that he was cut from the team has become legendary. It's used to prove that hard work beats rejection. And sure, the story works for that. But the truth is, he wasn't thrown out. He just didn't skip the line. And that small moment, more than the myth, is what
You just
really
gotta
shaped
wait
his
your
drive.
turn.
Clyde Drexler's grew up playing on an 11-foot hoop.
That's
Most
crazy.
kids dream of dunking on a regulation hoop. Clyde was out there flying at an extra
That's
foot higher.
crazy.
As a kid, the neighborhood hoop he used wasn't regulation. It was set at 11 feet. And instead of complaining, Drexler just went with
How
it.
the
He
fuck
said
they
that
know
once
that?
he finally pulled off a dunk on that thing, dunking on a standard 10-footer felt like a layup. That little tweak in his
Damn.
environment turned into a serious advantage. He didn't just jump higher,
definitely
he
dunking
made
on
it look
11
easy.
feet.
That's where the nickname Clyde the Glide comes in. His dunks
That boy definitely dunking on some 11-foot shit, bruh. The way he just dunked that motherfucker.
just powerful, they were smooth, like he was floating. You don't get that kind of elevation and grace without putting in some weird reps. And 11 feet, that's weird. Most players
My boy
develop their
should've went
hops
bald.
in gyms or on playgrounds with official rims and predictable conditions. Drexler basically trained like he was playing on expert mode before he ever set foot in a real game. That 1 foot difference forced him to develop explosive power, better timing, and more confidence in the air. And it paid off big time. He didn't become one of the best finishers in the league just by accident. That backyard rim probably did more
That
for his
boy
game
mitt is
than any
nasty.
fancy training program. It made 10
Give me
feet
that.
feel like nothing. So while other kids were slapping the backboard and feeling proud, Clyde was already soaring past that,
And I
gliding through the
scored
air
on you.
like it was no big deal.
Look at that
11
head,
feet.
boy.
Who does that?
Why
Clyde
you
did.
didn't go
Wilt
ball?
Chamberlain's 20,000 claim. This one might be the most infamous stat ever dropped by a basketball player,
Off
and it
the
wasn't
court?
even about basketball.
Drop 100 points on a nigga and go hit 100 women. Sheesh. It's a myth.
1991, Wilt released his autobiography and casually stated that he'd slept with 20,000 women.
Woo.
Not 2,000, 20,000. That breaks down to about 1.2 women a day, every day, starting from when he was 15 years old.
Boy, that hoe was throwing that cat left and right. Boy, look at that nigga in that mustache, boy. Hoe was slinging that box from shit. You keep your hoe around Wilt. Wilt was like R. Kelly, nigga. He was the freak off before the freak off.
He based the number off an observation by his friend Rod Rodowig, who saw Wilt with 23 different women over 10 days. Chamberlain multiplied from there. The public reaction, predictably chaotic. It came during the AIDS crisis, and a claim like that didn't exactly land softly. But Wilt insisted he wasn't bragging. He said he wasn't trying to flex, just being honest about his lifestyle. He described sex as a major part of his life.
He said, shit, bruh, I hoot. I be tired. I need a massage. I feel you, bro. 20,000 women. Probably like 18,000, but shit, you out of pocket, gang.
Almost like basketball. His words, not mine. Later on, he did
that nigga was hitting everything walking. I'm talking about BBWs, BBLs, skinny, tall, disability. My boy was hitting grandmas, aunties, like Wilt. Keep your hoe from him. And then what you gonna do? You gonna guard me? Nigga, you can't. You gonna score me? Nigga, you can't. Bro, they probably shot this nigga, bro.
Back a bit. Not in the numbers, but in meaning. In a 1999 interview, he said he realized being with one woman many times.
Hoes was still throwing that cat. Look at that goatee. That freaky nigga goatee. They was still throwing box. That mitt nasty, bro. They could be scared to go ball, bro. Soon as my mitt going like that, bro, we balling all day.
Brought more value than constantly chasing new ones. It was one of the few times he showed a shift in perspective on the subject. Now, the math is the problem. Keeping up that pace while also playing full NBA seasons, traveling, practicing, and doing media feels more fiction than fact.
Everything.
No known kids, no lawsuits, just the legend. Whether it's accurate or not, the claim added to Wilt's already larger-than-life image. On the court, he was dominant. Off the court, stories like this made sure people never stopped talking. 20,000. Even his stats had stats. Michael Jordan's treatment of Kwame Brown. This one's a brutal chapter. In 2001, Brown came into the league straight from high school as the top pick. He was just 19. Michael Jordan, who was the Wizards' president of basketball operations at the time, had reportedly wanted to flip that pick for Elton Brand. But the owner, Abe Pollan, shut it down. That left Brown stuck on the roster and stuck with
Jordan. You kind of crazy, gang. Yo ass retired. I see what happened here. Yo ass was retired, trying to own some shit. The shit wasn't working out. You ain't get what you want, so you said, fuck it. I'm a hoop. Jordan, you a crazy nigga, dude.
Expectations he didn't sign up for.
He said,
when Jordan came out of retirement to join the Wizards as a player, things went from bad to worse. Multiple accounts say he came down hard on Brown. Not tough love hard, more like humiliating.
I get it, bruh. You 19, blah, 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 kid, fresh out of high school. Nigga, you must ain't have no dad. Something, bro. Because, nigga, you not my father, bro. We hooping. Now, he must have not been, like, you Jordan, I get it. I would have been in practice, like, trying to learn everything. Okay, I could take that shit in practice. But, nigga, in front of these cameras, nigga, you ain't finna yell at me like you my son. Oh, your dad, nigga, fuck out of here. I would have punched on that nigga.
Former assistant coach John Bach said Jordan would berate Brown in front of everyone, sometimes reducing him to tears. And yeah, the language was way...
Kwame, come on now, bro. Kwame, you towering over Jordan. You taller than him, bro. I would have socked his ass out, bro. You can move faster than him, bro. Had ice all over his knees. Hit him and take his shoes, bro.
Brown himself later said that Jordan brought in older physical players during practice just to rough him up. He described the sessions as being designed to beat the crap out of him.
What nigga would have bullied me? I would have brought my 5, nigga. Fuck they talking about. I guess that's just young nigga activity. He's different. You know what I'm saying? He a different type of young nigga. The young nigga that he grew up in is the era like respect your elders and all that. Young niggas we growing up with, nah, nigga. Fuck all that trying to bully me, bro. Fuck what you talking. Like, you OG, you did what you did, you legendary. But, nigga, you're not going to treat me like your son. And, nigga, I'll put that fire on you. But it is Kwame.
That's
different.
Not exactly player development. It's closer to hazing. Publicly, Jordan didn't hold back either. He criticized the team often, nigga, and Brown got caught in the blast.
Is you hooping, nigga, or is you owning shit, bro? They don't even know, bro. This nigga just gambling, really. Shit. Shit, y'all niggas ain't hitting this motherfucker over like I like, nigga. I gotta get on the motherfucker drop 40, nigga. Shit. Get my bet. Y'all fucking on my parlay out here.
Jordan called out the squad in interviews, questioning their work ethic,
That
their
boy holding
toughness,
that shit
and
like a
basically
rich
making it
nigga.
known that he didn't trust the guys he was playing
Rich
with.
nigga
The pressure
pose.
crushed any chance for Brown to grow. He was young, raw, and suddenly
Boy, look at this nigga's skin, boy. God damn, baby oiled up. Boy, that nigga got. Bruh, he still look young, bruh. Even though he got damn, I guess 40 or young, whatever that is, that's kind of young. But goddamn, boy. No homo, pause.
the microscope with one of the most intense competitors ever breathing down his neck. Years later, Brown spoke out about that time, pointing to it as a major reason his career never found steady ground. That pick was more than just a bad fit, it was a setup for failure. Corey Maggetti's pointy delts. This might be one of the most unintentionally hilarious urban legends the NBA's ever produced. According to a Reddit tale from 2018, lifted from an old Slam magazine, Maggetti's shoulders were so dense, so sharp, that defenders allegedly avoided reaching in because they didn't want to jam their fingers. Yes, apparently the man's deltoids were classified as a workplace hazard. Now, Maggetti was built like a comic book character. 6'6", somewhere between 225 and 250 pounds, depending on who you ask, and all of it muscle. He was one of those guys
Keep that nigga shoulder away from me off the rip.
His arms had their own area code. This wasn't just gym hype either. He was relentless in the paint, and his game was all about driving through contact and getting to the line. Over 30% of his points came from free throws, and he had one of the highest foul drawing rates in the league. The myth adds to his legacy. He wasn't a superstar, but his build, his style, and now his alleged delt-based deterrent strategy have made him a cult figure. It's likely just exaggerated.
Strategy, nigga? That sound like goddamn some fucking football shit, bro. Why this nigga ain't hit the NFL?
But in a league that's had players injure themselves, sneezing or eating
shoulder
too
pads
much,
on his
a guy
ass.
turning shoulders into weapons, honestly, doesn't feel that far off. Larry Bird's left-handed game. On February 14th, 1986, he pulled...
Man, people need to know. I know they don't know because they too young. This man was like that. LeBron tried to do it. I think he did it for a little bit of a game on the Raptors. You can go fact check that. That's facts. But this man did it a whole game. And if you watch Larry highlights, he was really like that.
One of the most absurd
they played super fundamental basketball.
Facing the Portland Trailblazers, Bird, very much
but he had a little flash in his game.
Decided to spend a chunk of the game going left. Not because he had to, just because he wanted to. Before the game, he reportedly told teammates he was saving his right hand for the Lakers.
Larry Bird jersey.
That alone is a wild statement.
As a kid.
But then he went out and dropped 47 points, 14 rebounds,
I like Magic
and 11
Johnson
assists in overtime.
They
just
both
casually
cold.
handed the Blazers an L while working on his offhand. Out of his 21 made field goals, 10 were with his left. He went 3 for 3 from deep, as if
21 made field goals, 10 were with his left. First of all, 21 made field goals, bro. What was the FGAs, bro? What was the attempts on that? 21 out of what, gang? Because that's crazy. 21 FGs made?
I could torch you normally, but let's spice things up. This wasn't some blowout where he was playing around late in garbage time. The game was tight the whole way and went to overtime. He was actually competing, and he still chose to mess with the sliders. Bird wasn't doing this for a stunt. He was just that competitive and that bored. He needed a challenge, so he gave himself one. The performance has lived on, not just because of the numbers, but because of what it represented. Bird's confidence wasn't ego. It was backed by ridiculous skill and relentless execution. Most players would be lucky to have a 47-point triple-double once in their career. Bird did it left-handed just to entertain himself. That's not just talent. That's
Them shorts is out of pocket, though, gang. Them niggas want you to be hoochie mamas out there.
Different level of psychological warfare. Hakeem versus Vernon Maxwell. This wasn't your average teammate scuffle. It was almost a prison yard incident with a scoreboard. In 1993, during a game against...
Just take a moment and look at Hakeem and just look like, is this a nigga you just talk any type of wrong or crazy to?
Seattle Supersonics. Maxwell was already fuming at halftime over his performance.
Just look at Hakeem and then just look at him. And just look at under what Hakeem say. And it'll just look like a nigga that just gets slapped.
Letting it all out in the locker room, and Hakeem had seen enough. Hakeem confronted him, told him to stop whining and get it together. Maxwell responded like you'd expect Vernon Maxwell to respond, by running his...
And he do run his mouth.
Bad idea. Hakeem slapped him, not a tap.
Shout out to him. I just watched the interview of him. He's a very hilarious dude. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he was talking, he was yapping, he was doing a lot of that.
A full-on sit-you-down slap that launched Maxwell into a chair. Glass broke, chairs flew, and Maxwell...
How you slap a nigga so hard? Glass break, bro. Where the glasses even come from? You smacking, goddamn, you broke your jaw or something? You got glass body parts?
Completely lost it. He reportedly tried to grab something to retaliate, and it took teammates, coaches, and security to stop things from escalating into full chaos. Max,
he walking off like, damn, fuck nigga just slapped me, bro. This nigga did the opposite. How the fuck you bald when you young and old, you grow hair, bro? What type of nigga you?
His version of events makes it even wilder. He's talked about it in interviews, saying he wanted to stab Hakeem after the slap. Police had to be involved. Not your average halftime adjustment. Somehow, after all that, they both came out in the second half and helped the Rockets win 86-81. That's the part that's so insane. No
He slapped that nigga. He told him to get it together, nigga. He said, get it together, bro. He told him, no. Bet that nigga got it together, huh? We got that win.
No
made that nigga get his
just
shit
two teammates
all the way together.
Throwing hands in the locker room, then hitting clutch shots together 20 minutes later like nothing happened. This wasn't some minor disagreement. It was an eruption of ego,
I bet every time he looked at him too, they just looked at each other. He said, nigga, I'll slap you again. They know that look. He the motherfucking Hakeem gave that nigga that look, bro. Like, nigga, I'll slap your ass again. Quit playing.
And frustration.
That's why they won.
But it didn't destroy the team. That year, the Rockets weren't just talented. They were volatile, intense, and maybe just crazy enough to win. That altercation, just part of the journey. Biggie's I Got a Story to Tell is about Anthony Mason. For years, it was just a slick, cinematic track on life after.
So, if you didn't know, now you know. If you want to listen to that song, this is about this dude right here. Got the taco meat out, no undershirt. Just going.
A tale of suspense, sex, and improvisation. The song walks through a wild night where Biggie hooks up with a woman, only for her boyfriend, an unnamed New York Knicks player, to walk in. Biggie fakes a robbery, ties her up, pulls a gun, and takes the guy's cash before disappearing into the night. The track became instant hip-hop folklore.
No, I don't know. Maybe like he jawed or maybe like walked off. He probably had a gun on him because ain't no running for that. Biggie is not running, bro.
And for nearly 2 decades, fans speculated about who the mysterious Nick was. Then in 2016, Fat Joe casually dropped a bomb on Highly Questionable, naming Anthony Mason. Later, Diddy co-signed it on The Breakfast Club, basically confirming the worst-kept secret in
Diddy as your co-signer is crazy. Nigga look like fucking cousins.
Shop debates. Mason was known for his bruising style on the court and his nightlife reputation off it, so the reveal didn't exactly stun people. But still, hearing it tied to one of rap's most detailed stories, that pushed it into legend territory. The overlap of two iconic New York figures, Biggie and Mason, just made the tale feel even more real. Whether every detail in the song is 100% true, that's up for debate. Even Diddy admitted there may have been some creative license involved, but the Mason name
that shit crazy, bro. Like, you goddamn think this picture be tough, like hard, but in the end of the day, you can't even defend yourself to say that, nigga, your lips is puckered, gang, and you trying to look tough.
And it's been part of the narrative ever since. What started as a punchline in a story rap ended up linking two very different icons forever, whether fact or stylized fiction. The mystery around that Knicks player gave the track staying power.
They put the nigga black and white too, bro. Like the nigga Ghost giving me a kiss, bro.
Mason, knowingly or not, became part of rap history. Kevin Love's hand injury in 2012. Officially, he broke the 3rd and 4th metacarpals on his right hand doing knuckle push-ups. That was the story the Timberwolves and Love stuck to, even though it immediately set off a wave of side eyes and internet speculation. Because let's be honest, how many guys are out here shattering their shooting hand while doing knuckle push-ups in their condo? Love called it a freak accident, said he was just sticking to his training regimen and kept a straight face through every interview.
Nigga said training regimen, straight face. That nigga damn near probably beat his nigga. We'll see what really happened.
No elaboration, just, yep, push-ups got me. Meanwhile, the public reaction was exactly what you'd expect. Fans and message boards lit up with alternate theories. The wildest and most persistent, that he punched a fridge after catching his girlfriend cheating. That version, of course, came with...
Yeah, alright, punch a fridge. That nigga put some hands on somebody. Punch somebody's jawline out.
Pro confirmation. No teammates backing it. No insiders leaking it. Just classic online rumor energy. It spread fast, but never went anywhere.
The point is like, fuck it, nigga, it's your hand. They was mad more because shit he didn't even get to play. But look, Minnesota a cursed franchise anyway. Y'all just got to deal.
Legit. No reporter ever nailed it down, and love never cracked. So what we're left with is a tale that sounds just strange enough to be real, but suspicious enough to feel like a cover. No team wants to say their franchise guy injured himself in a rage, but also, what franchise wants to claim he hurt himself doing something as avoidable as push-ups? The only confirmed version remains the push-up story.
Push-ups?
Whether people believe it or not, hasn't really...
He could have said he punched something, bro. Push-ups just sound ridiculous. But that's probably the first lie he got off to them and shit. He probably kept that same straight face with his organization.
Changed its official status. It's one of those injuries where the truth might never fully surface. What did surface? A broken hand, 6 to 8 weeks out, and a whole lot of confused headlines. Bob Cousy's almost Knicks moment. In 1950, the Tri-Cities Blackhawks
Damn, that's
drafted
way
him third
before
overall.
my time.
Problem was, Cousy had no interest in playing for them. He wanted to stay in the Northeast, and he wasn't exactly thrilled about the money either, so he straight up refused to report. The Blackhawks tried flipping his rights to the Chicago Stags, but then the Stags folded before the season even started. Classic early NBA chaos. With the Stags gone, the league had to figure out what to do with their player, so they held a dispersal draft lottery.
Basketball was in a bad way, bro. I know they weren't playing with no ball that looked like that. Because why that look like a baseball?
3 names stood out: Max Zaslavsky, Andy Phillip, and Bob Cousy. The Knicks were in that lottery.
Magical was this? I don't even remember the second. Of course, Cousy gonna stand out. How the fuck the first 2 stand out? Maybe it was the game. I ain't gonna lie. Middle, I'm ripping that shit. First nigga, I'm blocking that shit. Cousy, you look like you shooting that shit too slow. You probably get that shit off pretty fast. Look like you got a little, you know what I'm saying? But the first middle, you getting cookies. I see the crossover, bro. Like and I don't know if that's a pass. I don't know what that is in the first.
Had a legit shot at landing Cousy and rewriting their history. Instead, the Boston Celtics got him. That part still stings in hindsight. Even funnier, Red Auerbach didn't even want Cousy at first. He had his eyes on other players and wasn't sold on Cousy's flash. But once Cousy hit the court, that doubt disappeared. He went on to rack up 13 All-Star appearances and became one of the greatest point guards in basketball history. Meanwhile, the Knicks were left wondering what could have been. It's one of those bizarre sliding door moments the NBA's full of. A star nearly lands on one team,
adding color to the black and white. It's like black and white color.
Up on another and changes the course of league history. If that lottery ball had bounced a different way, Cousy could have been dazzling at the Garden instead of driving the Celtics dynasty. Instead, New York missed it.
That boy faking the throw too, bro. So he faking you up top too.
And Boston struck gold. Penny Hardaway's name. Origin. Let's clear this one up, because people still manage to butcher it in barbershops and trivia nights. First off, his actual first name, Anthony, wasn't some clerical error or southern remix of Anthony. His mother, Faye, picked it on purpose. She named him after a classmate she admired. So no, it wasn't a hospital typo or her struggling with phonics. She meant it, spelled it that way, and stuck with it. Now, the nickname. This part's a little more charming. His grandmother Louise used to call him Pretty, but with her thick southern accent, what came out sounded more like Penny, and that's what everyone else started calling him. Pretty turned into Penny, and just like that, a basketball nickname icon was born. It wasn't a branding move or a team gimmick. It was a sweet slip of the tongue from grandma that turned into a household name. Together, those names, Anthony and Penny, ended up defining one of the smoothest point guards to ever step on a court. You see Penny, and you think of that #1 jersey, silky crossovers, and those unforgettable commercials with Lil Penny. But behind the glitz was just a guy with a unique name and a grandma who accidentally gave him one of the best nicknames.
Man, everybody love that grandma.
In NBA history, Tony Braxton and the Mavericks breakup. This one's been floating around NBA circles since the mid-90s, like a catchy hook from a slow jam. The story goes that R&B icon Tony Braxton somehow broke up the Dallas Mavericks' 3 J's: Jason Kidd, Jim Jackson, and Jamal Mashburn.
She looked like she would do that.
She had plans with Kidd, skipped out, and showed up with Jackson instead. Cue the drama, cue the tension, cue the team falling apart. Except, not really. Jason Kidd flat out denied the whole thing. He said he never met her, not once. According to him, the story had a mind of its own. Jim Jackson backed that up too, saying the real issues had nothing to do with anyone singing ballads in a silk dress. Mashburn chimed in as well, saying it wasn't about a love triangle.
You know men are deny some shit when it come about women. That's like off the rip.
About ego, youth, and poor leadership. And that makes a lot more sense. You had 3 insanely talented players in their early 20s, all trying to be the guy, with no veteran voice in the locker room to glue it together. That's a recipe for chaos. Add in media pressure and fan expectation, and you've got a classic implosion. Not a heartbreak saga, but the Braxton angle stuck, probably because it's juicier than players had chemistry issues. It turned into a legend, and legends don't really need evidence. They just need a good story. In the end, the Mavericks didn't lose their core over a singer. They lost it the old-fashioned way, with mismatched priorities and too many alphas, not enough adults. Michael Jordan's golf, gambling stories. You've probably heard whispers, but the Richard Esquinas tale is the one that really put a dollar sign on the habit. In 1993, Esquinas, a businessman in amateur golf, dropped a memoir where he claimed Jordan racked up $1,250,000 in golf debt. That's not a typo. According to Esquinas, Jordan negotiated it.
Boy, Jordan learned how to golf so good. Boy, that nigga goddamn was golfing like a motherfucker. That been golfing ever since.
To $300,000, paid $200,000, and then stopped. Just ghosted the final chunk. Jordan didn't deny the gambling. He admitted to playing with Esquinas, but said the debt never went past $300,000. He also questioned the guy's motives. Basically said,
Jordan funny, he said the debt never went past $300. Nigga, cause you ain't pay him, fuck. He said, that's all I'm gonna pay y'all, I'm out.
Story, bro. Nice book sales.
And
honestly, he might have had a point, because it didn't stop there. Charles Barkley once shared that Jordan would bet $100,000 on a single putt. Not a game, a putt. In another game, Barkley said he was handed a $1,000 putt by Jordan because Jordan was focused on the much bigger fish on the next hole. Comedian Cedric the Entertainer said playing golf with Jordan meant you better bring 10 grand just to keep up hole to hole. Jordan's own explanation? He said he pushed the envelope, sure, but he didn't call it a problem, just part of who he is. A competitive outlet. On 60 Minutes, he even asked, is it compulsive? And then answered himself like, well, depends how you...
That definition should never gave that nigga money, boy. He owe people, so he taxing. He hitting way over the head. Boy, that Jordan money ain't enough for the debt he can collect it.
Yeah, according to him, it never threatened his finances or family.
The shoe money ain't enough.
The dollar amounts are insane. But the bigger takeaway, Jordan wasn't just competing in the NBA. He was out here trying to win everything, even on the greens, even if it cost 6 figures. Earl Monroe's own goal conspiracy. Yep, this one's actually true, and it's one of the weirder footnotes in NBA history. March 10th, 1977, the Knicks were up on the Trailblazers, things were winding down, and then Monroe casually launched a shot into his own basket, right as time expired. That's how you end up on an FBI notepad. The Knicks still technically won the game, 108-104, but the shot flipped the betting spread. The line was Knicks by 5.5. Monroe's backwards bucket.
Damn, niggas was betting back then. What the fuck? Them little ass shorts.
Brought the final margin to 4, meaning the Blazers covered. People who had money on the Knicks, not thrilled. Naturally, this triggered alarms. The NBA launched an investigation to determine whether Monroe had just handed a payday to some lucky gamblers. His explanation? He forgot which basket he was standing at. Also claimed he thought the game had ended already.
That's that B in the NBA, boy. They said, whoa, we gotta investigate this, bruh. And it could have been a simple mistake. But they know that NBA players be on that. They got friends and family members.
Which is not great, but it was the 70s, and Monroe was a fading star stuck on a middling team with a bunch of tired legs from the last glory run. Now, the FBI was already sniffing around due to a separate tip. Someone had claimed to be working with a Knicks player to shave points. They tried to get him to place a bet, but the guy always backed out, making excuses. Nothing ever materialized. No arrests, no hard proof, just whispers. In the end,
you got the other hand. My boy went all the way right hand. And they let him. That's crazy.
No suspension, no fine. Just a very strange legacy moment. The man's in the Hall of Fame, has a ring with the Knicks, and also has the rare distinction of being investigated for point shaving because he dunked on himself. Eric Gordon played Michael Jordan's son in Space Jam. The Eric Gordon in Space Jam, not the NBA player. This rumor's been bouncing around for years, probably because both Erics were born in 1988, and apparently that's all some people need to go full conspiracy mode. But no, the kid who played Marcus Jordan in Space Jam is a totally different Eric Gordon. The actor Eric Gordon has a few credits, including Space Jam and a couple of lesser-known shows. The basketball, Eric Gordon, yeah, the one who's spent over a decade splashing threes for the Clippers, Rockets, and Suns, has never stepped foot on a movie set unless someone filmed him walking into a game. The confusion's understandable, though. Same name, same birth year. In Space Jam being the pop culture juggernaut that it is, someone connected the dots wrong and never stopped running with it. Even the Los Angeles Times had to write a whole clarification piece on it. So no, the NBA Eric Gordon wasn't acting as a kid in a blockbuster with Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny. He was probably in
parking lot
Indiana working on his jumper. The Eric Gordon in Space Jam, just a child actor who shares a name with a future pro, one who probably hears about it every time someone Googles too fast. Wilt Chamberlain, volleyball legend? Yeah.
Damn, Wilt on there twice. I mean, bro, the nigga, come on now. He look like he can goddamn play anything.
After retiring from the NBA in 1973, Chamberlain decided that dominating one sport wasn't enough, so he jumped into volleyball, and not just as a side.
I'm out. Was that nigga was running so fucking fast? Hell no, I believe every bit of the 100 points. Timeout, gang. That nigga was running
Volleyball
fast
legend?
as a fuck.
Yeah, that happened. After retiring from the NBA in 1973, Chamberlain decided that
damn, big spider body ass.
In one sport,
whoa,
wasn't enough. He jumped in.
Past that motherfucking rock, OG tripping. Nigga, that Wilt Chamberlain, see how fast that nigga just... Hold on, gang, timeout. I'm sorry.
NBA in 1973, Chamberlain decided that dominating one sport wasn't enough.
Boom,
so
right
he
there.
Jumped into volleyball,
boom, right there.
And not just as a side hustle. He went all in. In 1975, he helped found the International Volleyball Association.
Bruh, look at this nigga, dog.
A short-lived but very real professional co-ed league. He
just won the championship. And look, we'll let you do this. You get your championship. Get your ass back on this hardwood, boy. We need you.
Figurehead.
You running
he was
like
the president, the face.
That boy can run track and field. Shit.
The promotional
volleyball,
engine, and yes, a player. He suited up for the Southern California Bangers and the Seattle Smashers because, of course, he did. Those names are very real. His volleyball skills, raw in spots,
damn, he beating shit down.
Passing and setting weren't exactly
potent. He beating shit down on the volleyball court and off the court, bro. He is a fucking man. God said, bro, I need you.
But his spiking, that was terrifying. Imagine trying to block Wilt Chamberlain at the net. Teammates said his power was...
That nigga was beating shit, bruh.
Opponents just hoped to survive. But Wilt didn't stop at just playing. He used his fame to give volleyball some much-needed shine. He sponsored events.
Oh, goddamn, might be goddamn Spencer Dinwiddie father had ass, boy. Nigga goddamn had so many hoes.
Organized showcases, and kept the media talking. In a country where volleyball rarely gets attention, Wilt made people look, and the payoff? He was inducted into the International Volleyball Hall of Fame. That's not an honorary nod. They recognized him for his real influence on the sport's growth in the U.S.
Boy, this nigga was a 70s movie star looking ass nigga, boy.
That puts Wilt in rare air.
Look at this. Boy, you could have put this nigga in a movie.
Someone honored at the highest level in 2 professional sports. So yeah, after rewriting basketball's record book, Wilt spent next chapter of his athletic life jumping over volleyball nets.
Boom!
Not content with just being great, he wanted to change
bro, that's assault if that volleyball hit you, bruh. You gotta file charges.
Again, the Matt Barnes and DeMarcus Cousins nightclub brawl. This one got messy, but let's clear up the myth. On December 5th, 2016, after a Kings-Knicks game, Barnes and Cousins hit up Avenue nightclub in Manhattan, and that's where things spiraled. According to reports in the civil lawsuit, Barnes allegedly choked a woman named Jasmine.
Whoa, wait a minute.
According to reports,
wait a minute. Hold
Barnes
on.
and Cousins hit up Avenue nightclub in Manhattan.
Look at this shit, bruh. Do you think DeMarcus Cousins big ass can fit in this fucking crowd? That's a fucking brawl itself. They tripping.
And that's where things spiraled. According to reports in the civil lawsuit, Barnes allegedly choked a woman named Jasmine Baciso, and when her boyfriend Myron Powell tried to intervene, Cousins
Why could I got a black eye? You good, bruh? Like, bruh, go to sleep, bruh. You like, you goddamn tired, folks. Either you tired or somebody goddamn... What eye is that? You know what I'm saying? That look like your right eye. Somebody get that right eye a good little 1, 2 too many.
Punched him. Barnes was also accused of elbowing Baciso and continuing to assault Powell after he hit the ground. That's the story that made headlines. Now here's where the legend kicks in. People started whispering that Barnes took the fall for Cousins, like he stepped in legally to protect his teammate. But
whoa, that boy took some blows from DeMarcus Cousins? No wonder your eye look like that. It makes sense now.
Pretend this is a mafia flick. Barnes pled guilty to disorderly conduct and did community service.
shout out to
Cousins,
bro.
meanwhile, was named in the lawsuit, but didn't face
boy
criminal
took the charge.
That's not taking the fall. That's one guy ending up in court while the other one wasn't charged. No court documents,
that's real.
police statements, or credible reports
boy
ever
from the
backed up the
streets.
idea that Barnes threw himself on the sword for Cousins. It's more likely that Barnes got more attention because he's Barnes. Volatile reputation, long history of on and off court chaos, and a knack for getting headlines.
That's the video, man. W video, man. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Facto. That's B-Boy Explained. Subscribe to them. I am the Chill Life of Zoe, and we'll be back with more B-Ball content. Until then, I am out. Peace.